Hi everybody, welcome to another Talk to Georgian live chat. My name is Jenny Thompson. I'm the social media specialist here at Georgian College. And today we're going to be talking about all things international. And we already have our IC Georgian account saying hello, and that's going to be Sid. He's going to be joining us in just a few minutes to chat about all things international. We're going to be chatting with Sid Taneja, as I mentioned, an international student service officer with our international center here in Canada, as well as Jenna Hubbert, who's a student immigration advisor with our international center as well. So if you don't already, give them a follow. I've sort of pinned them there at the bottom. It's just IC Georgian. They're a really great account to check out for sure. So you might be wondering, what are the latest travel restrictions? How can I work while studying in Canada? What's student life like with courses mostly remote this fall? We know you've got lots of questions and we definitely want to support you. So please post your comments below, your questions below, and we'll do our best to get through as many as we can today. And everyone's saying hello, and thank you so much for joining us today. So before we jump into some questions, I really wanted to just always plug our website. It's a fantastic resource. There's tons of information on there, including what we're talking about today, as well as all of our ongoing COVID-19 updates and information. And that's for domestic and international students. So we're all covered. A lot of commonly answered questions, a lot of commonly asked questions are answered on there. Just want to give you a quick little tour just to show you where a few key places are to get some great information. So this is our website, GeorgianCollege.ca. I just want to direct you guys to this bright orange tab or bar at the top. That's where you're going to find a lot of really good, useful information. There's a few links in there, including our August lab recovery period. So if any of you who are joining us are coming back to campus starting next week to finish up some lab and practical recovery, you can click on here and get lots more information about what you need to know about that. It's broken down by section. You can easily find out what you need to do before you arrive, as well as safety protocols. Things like parking is free. You can see what's open and closed, all that good stuff. So for sure, check that out. And you'll get lots of information. We highly recommend downloading our Safe at Georgian app. That's going to make it really simple to head back to campus as well. As well, in the orange bar, there is our Fall 2020 program delivery page. And so if you're wondering, are my classes online or are they remote this fall? You can actually go to this page, and if you scroll down, there's this really easy to use search tool. So there's just this chart here, and you just go up to the search tab and you just plunk in your program name, and up it'll come, and it'll show you whether it's remote or in person, even sort of down to the hour of how much time you would be spending on campus, if any. As well, the last one is just our COVID-19 updates page. So that's an ongoing updates. We share ongoing updates on that page. So that's what this looks like here. There's lots of key dates up at the top, so that's great to check out and reference and put in your calendar. As well, it's also broken down by section. So if you're looking for a certain semester, or if you're wondering about fees or student services or whatever, it's really easy to find. As well, for international students, we do have a separate page just for you. So we'll have more information on there about, things like travel and immigration and housing and insurance and all that kind of stuff. So you can easily find those on there. So I know that's lots of information, but definitely just head to GeorgianCollege.ca, and that bright orange tab at the top is a really great place to start for some fantastic links there to check out. Awesome. Oops, sorry about that. Great. So now we're going to be bringing in Sid in just a minute. Sid Taneja is an international student service officer with our international center here in Canada.
Hey Jenny, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I like your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, really
Something
good.
new. Well,
So
thank
finally, so nice to join here.
yes, thank you so much. And I'm sure some of you joining in will recognize Sid. He hosts all of the live chats on IC Georgian that you guys do. I don't know if you want to do a quick promo for those.
Sure. So we do live chats 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mondays at noon on Facebook, Wednesdays and Fridays at noon on Instagram. It's been 4 months since we started. We started exactly April 1st. And since then, we're getting a lot of repeated viewers, and students are loving it. We're getting engaged. We talk there. We answer questions there. We tell what updates there are, and if there's any other channel that they can use to stay connected with us.
Yeah, awesome. And so jumping into maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what you do at Georgian.
Sure. So I do anything and everything that has to do with servicing students, right from their arrival in Canada at the airport, their arrival services, to ongoing events on campus, to making sure that they're serviced completely, they don't not facing any issues, from orientation, international panel, to the point when they graduate, and even after that, if they have any questions or anything that they want to ask.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. And I'm seeing lots of questions coming in already, so that's fantastic to see.
Hmm.
Um, and so before we jump into, I wanted to, so we've got the live chats. Is there anything else that the international student or international center is doing to stay connected with students?
Yeah, so apart from the live chats that we do 3 times a week, we have different email IDs that we have started already. So students, if they have immigration related question, we advise them to use their student portal to reach out to us. If they have housing or quarantine related questions, which most of the students will now have because they will be arriving shortly in Canada, we're helping the students with that. Any early insurance questions or deferral applications or changing their programs so that they don't have to wait a long time to get their answers. Now we have different email IDs so that they get their answers within 5 business days.
Yeah, that's great. Great.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so we are getting a lot of questions about travel, and I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
some come in, and it's such a like an ever-changing situation. Anyway, so much can change even between now and
Overnight.
fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But can you give us sort of an update about what travel, like what the latest is with travel restrictions?
Sure. So as of now, students, and again, don't quote me on this because these things change overnight. But as of this second, students who have received their visa before March 18, have in-person component, have a travel support letter, have a quarantine plan, have all the necessary documents, can arrive in Canada. These rules keep on changing. So what we do is we recommend students to either check IRCC website, or I'm going to share the screen, or you can follow the CIC website Facebook page on this Facebook page, which is Canadian Immigration and Citizenship. Once you follow them, they keep on updating any new rules or regulations that keep on coming, and they keep up to date with temporary residents or study permit, work permit, or new international students, how these conditions will affect their postgrad work permit. What we do is we keep on reposting these on the International Center's web page under the COVID page, and we keep on updating our FAQs there.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we're seeing a question coming in about September intake and how to travel to Canada. So that would be a great place to check out for sure then.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can touch on too, like you mentioned, quarantine plans. We've seen some questions coming in too about, what they have to do. Maybe you can sort of
Sure.
tell us
So
about that.
thanks. So many of the students, and we have been telling these to almost all who have started planning their travel. So we're requesting all the students to email intlhousing@GeorgianCollege.ca. I'm going to show that on the screen as well. So it's in the comment section, intlhousing@GeorgianCollege.ca. Let us know when you start making your travel plan so that we are aware of your travel plans, as well as we can get in touch with you just in case you need any help or assistance from us. Also, once you arrive here, we are preparing a welcome package, and we have we have started having tie-ups with different hotels and on-campus residents so that you can have one place to quarantine yourself and get all the services that you need to quarantine yourself for 14 days, because we understand moving away to a new country, 14 days just by yourself is a very difficult thing. So we want to help you, but please email us at intlhousing@GeorgianCollege.ca for any quarantine-related questions so that we can assist you better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's another really great reason to connect with you guys through the IC Georgian account as well. If if they are having to quarantine, at least there's also a community that they can connect with.
Definitely, definitely.
So awesome. Okay, great. And I'm seeing a question here. I don't know if you have some advice for this person here about I deferred my admission to winter intake from the September for the research analyst course. Will I face an issue getting a visa for January arrival?
So if you deferred your program before getting the visa, as long as you are eligible for the program and you have the offer letter, it should not affect your visa, and you can defer as many times as you can, because even the immigration understands that because of COVID, students are not able to start their program. So as long as you have your offer letter, you have all the documents needed to apply for visa, it should not affect you in any case.
Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing another question about just even things like the cost, wondering about the cost of housing and things like that. I know
Sure.
we have some resources on some of those. Maybe you could share that.
Exactly. So I would just say about the on-campus residents now, because we have some hotels as well who have partnered with us to help students quarantine themselves. But the on-campus residence is $25 a night, and students can purchase the wellness package as well, in which they have several different things, example toiletries or kitchen appliances that they might need for the 14 days. Again, all this information is on a large scale, and we have a lot to cover. So that's why we would appreciate if students can email us at INTL Housing, and we'll be more than happy to help them.
Mm-hmm.
No problem.
Awesome. Yeah, I love seeing these questions. This is great. We're getting lots coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to, if you can comment generally. There's a question. We've seen some questions coming in about just looking for an update about the college opening and sort of where we're at with.
For the winter semester.
I think. Well, I guess for the winter semester, but also for fall.
Sure. So so we get this question a lot in the live chats as well. So I would say one thing, be it fall or winter. Fall, we already have a tentative plan in hand, and hoping for the best and having a very optimistic approach, fingers crossed, that things will get better soon and we'll all be on campus very soon. And if that happens, I'm sure that college will rethink the decision. Again, for winter, we don't want to make any decision, because we don't want to put your life at risk by making any tentative plan right now. But if we'll make any tentative plan, continue monitoring the college website, continue monitoring your emails. We'll make sure that you are the first one to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And there's a question here too about they've applied to withdraw and how much time that usually takes. Do you have any sense of how much time that takes for people?
Apply for withdrawal and full refund due to COVID-19 on 18 July. How much time it takes? Depending on whether the application was complete or not. So I'm not sure, but if you want to, if the student wants to check on the status of the withdrawal application, I'm just going to send the email ID here. It's GeorgianCollege.ca. If you want to get any status application on status of your deferred application, program change, new application, or withdrawal, and you want to know what is the status of it, it's GCINTL Recruit. For withdrawal, it usually is 4 to 6 weeks. So once that period is, and again, business days, just count in business days. Once that time period has crossed, then you can check in with us and ask for the status on your application.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's a question here too, because with the majority of our classes on still remote this fall, and not everybody is going to be able to travel here to take their classes. So we have people studying in countries around the world. So can you tell us a little bit about that sort of time zone issue and how we can support students?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say most or almost all classes of all programs are being designed in such a way that time difference is not an issue to any student who is studying outside of Canada. We understand that we have international students as well, where time difference is a big issue, because if it's a day here, it's going to be night in their country, or evening or afternoon, and that could hamper their success in their academics. So how the program is designed is that either there will be recorded sessions, or there will be recorded classes, or the professor is going to take repeated classes just to make sure that you are getting the exact program delivery as you promised, as you would have got on the campus. So we have taken into account, and that time difference will not be an issue in any case. You can take your classes at any time convenient to you.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. And there's a question, scrolled up a little bit.
Yeah.
It says, as per the new immigration update, visa process is being split into two. Is there any surety that a student can enter Canada in January after completing one semester online? Do you have any advice for that? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
As per the new immigration visa process, I'm split into two. Is there is a one semester online? So again, if you read, to the student, if you read the update carefully on the IRCC website, so it is completely students' responsibility to take the risk that there could be a condition where the visa is not accepted or approved. But in that case, you'll have to take that risk to start the program. But again, if you're sure that you meet all the eligibility criteria and you'll get the visa, you can always start the program. But in any case, because it's a very sensitive immigration-related issue, we highly encourage that you get in touch with an immigration consultant to get the most appropriate knowledge about this matter, because we are not authorized to say anything for this thing. But other than that, since it's a sensitive issue, you want to have an expertise knowledge on that.
Okay, great. And we're getting some question. We have a question here too from the Canadian duo there about their English language score, about who they should email in order to get my offer letter. Just looking for some updates there, I guess, about your offer letter.
You have so Jenny has pinned the email ID GCINTL Recruit. You can email them with 4 very important details that I always cover in the live session. First, your full name. Second, your student number. Third, the program that you have applied for. And fourth, your contact number with the country code. Along with these 4 details, attach your IELTS letter. Let them know what it is about, and your case will be handled.
Okay, great. And I want to touch on orientation with you as well, because I know it's crazy how fast the summer is going, and we're almost in September. How that happened, I don't know. So most of our classes are online. Tell us what can we expect from orientation this year?
Sure. So regardless whether the student will be on campus for the in-person classes or they are in their home country, orientation will be taking place online. We'll be using various different channels to make sure that the engagement is there, even though we are remote. We're going to have pre-orientation, which is Head Start. And this time it's going to be different so that we have more involvement from the students as well. It's going to spread out over 2 weeks from September 1st to September 13, and then September 14 is the orientation day. The first communication document was sent out on August 5th, which is yesterday. So you must have received it in your email inbox. If not, please check with your agent, because your agent might have received it. If not, even then you can email. I'm going to type the email address, which is international@GeorgianCollege.ca. You can email us if you haven't received any email about the orientation yet. So that was the first email that you received, which was a general email about orientation. The next email will be in the second week end about how orientation and Head Start even will look like and what kind of events it will have.
Yeah, perfect. And can you tell us too about just student life in general too, like once people get here and they start taking classes, since we are mostly still online for now, what can people expect from student life?
Sure. So apart from international GCSA, is having regular repeated events throughout the week. They have online events from their online chats to online performances to online bingo games. So even though we are online, we are working remotely, we all are studying remotely. GCSA and the entire college, I would say, are taking complete steps to make sure that all the students are engaged, involved, and feeling excited, even though in these times. So I would say to check out GCSA page on Facebook because that's where they keep on updating their events.
Mm-hmm. I'll just share there. So we have GCSA at different campuses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at all our campuses, but I'll just put in the main Barrie one. A lot of the events are sort of.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my internet works. There you go. So I'm gonna share my screen as well. So that's GCSA Barrie on Facebook page, and as you can see that they keep on posting different events that they have, performances from the students, and it's a great way to stay engaged even though we all are remotely and there's not much to engage.
And there's a question here too about what about the visa process for online students? Is there there?
Visa process for online students. Again, it's an IRCC related question, it's an immigration related question, but you do not need a visa to attend the orientation. The orientation is open to all. And since the latest update from IRCC that the students without visa can start their program, so you do not need a visa to attend the orientation. You can attend the orientation anyway.
Okay, great. Well, I think we're gonna end there for now. We could talk for hours. I know we have tons of questions. But thank you so much, Sid, for your
No
advice
problem.
today. That's great.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Jenny.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sid, for joining us. So for anyone who is just joining us as well, we're taking questions all about international. So for any questions you may have missed, and I'm seeing some questions come in again, you know, just about looking for updates on September intake and all that kind of stuff. We are going to be posting this live chat on our Instagram, on our Facebook, and our YouTube channels following when we're done. So you can keep an eye out there and feel free to reference that anytime. As well, we know we are focused on this one topic today, so we really do want to support you if you have questions about other things. You know, I'm seeing some questions coming in about the differences between campuses even, or about the benefits of co-op, or about you know, particulars about different programs. You can find all of that information on our website, GeorgianCollege.ca. And I'll just quickly show that as well. So GeorgianCollege.ca, so things like programs. If you go up to our academics page, if you go over here, oops, sorry. If you go over here, you can see our full-time programs, apprentices, degrees, graduate certificates. So if you click on all full-time programs, for instance, you can search here. If you know what you want to take, that's great. You can start typing it in here and it'll pop up down below. You can search by campus, by keywords, areas of interest, when you want to start, that sort of thing. And all of these program pages have all the particulars. So when they start, what courses are involved, what kind of career opportunities you can get from them, how long they are, whether there's a co-op and all that kind of stuff. So we would definitely would say to check that out as well. Under academics, again, you can see by campus. So there is information on all of our campuses here. So I believe the person who was asking earlier was asking about Owen Sound. So you can learn all about Owen Sound there. Yeah, so we've got lots of information to check out. Great, so we are going to be bringing in Jenna Hubbert in just a second. She is the Student Immigration Advisor with our International Center here in Canada. So she can tell us some more about, you know, with your travel questions and all that good stuff. Bringing her in just a second. Great, and I see, does the VetTech program accept international students? Yes, all of our programs accept international students. So it is a highly competitive program though. So I don't know if you want to finish my thought there, Jenna, just about the VetTech program.
Sorry, I didn't catch the beginning of that question.
Oh, it was just about, I think some people are asking about whether, particular programs accept international students, but our programs
Okay.
are all open to international students.
Yeah, and it's just limited depending on availability. So the best way to find out is to contact probably GCINTL or just through your regular admissions process if you're wondering about seat availability. But some programs are more limited than others, yes.
Yeah, some are more competitive and things. So for the
Yeah.
highly competitive ones, you want to apply before, I think, March 1st, if I'm
Yeah.
remembering that right. So Jenna, so thank you so much for joining us. Again, she is the Student Immigration Advisor here at Georgian with the International Center. So can you tell us a little bit about what that means? What do you do?
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Jenny. And so my role, I work with two other advisors. We work with students at all campuses, and our main role is helping you in supporting you by maintaining your immigration status throughout your studies at Georgian College. So when I talk about immigration status goes directly with your academics. So in order for you to be in Canada studying, you would need to have valid status, and that could mean many different things. So the main valid status is your study permit, as I'm sure you're aware of, but also other things like applying for a co-op work permit, applying to extend your TRV, applying to extend your study permit, applying for a post-graduation work permit after you actually complete your program. So as you study at Georgian, as you move through your studies, you might stay on course with your academic plan and may not have much interaction with us at all, or depending on how your studies go, or if you change programs, you would have to be changing those immigration documents to match your new academic plan. So we help you with all of that.
Yeah, perfect. And so we touched on this earlier as well with Sid, but I wanted to touch on that, on the travel as well, again, just because that is an often asked question. So can you tell us what are the latest travel restrictions right now?
Yeah, so we have a lot of questions about travel, and I understand students' eagerness to come to Canada. But I'll just start with, it's really important to note that, traveling at any time, there's always a level of risk. And especially right now during a global pandemic, that level of risk is increased. So the Canadian government has really closed their borders, but have made exemptions to international students who meet a few different requirements. And those requirements, as Sid mentioned, are that you have been approved on or before a visa March 18th, 2020. And then the second piece to that, where students often get a little bit confused, is your essential need to be in Canada. So an essential need means that there's some sort of reason why you have to be in Canada. And in the context of Georgian College, that would be if you have in-person classes that you have to actually be on campus for. So that would be an example of an essential need. So along with those two pieces, you would essentially meet the exemption, but then of course, coming with all your other documentation, the quarantine plan that Sid talked about a little bit, all of that is going to be really important. And for you to be explaining as well to the CBSA officer when you arrive. And we do have some more information on just travel in general on our FAQs that Jenny showed earlier. So if you want to just review what I mentioned as well, you're welcome to see it all written out there.
So again, just GeorgianCollege.ca, and if you go up to the, you mean on the COVID-19 page, right? And so if you go click on there, that'll take you here. And if you go over here, that's where you can find a really easy link right to the international page. And there's more FAQs on here.
Yeah. And these are always being updated. So as IRCC, so that's Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada. We call it IRCC for short. As they make changes, and they will, you can expect that they will continue to make changes as things continue to develop. We will be letting you know through this site. So this is our most up-to-date, sort of accurate site here, where we can post things that are coming out from IRCC that are relevant to international students. So it's a good sort of habit to get into, to be checking this frequently if you haven't already.
And as you can see, there's tons and tons of information on there. Lots of great info. Cool.
Great. And then, so and we sort of touched on this as well. You were saying sort of that essential need to be here. So, and we've been getting some questions from some students who are wondering about support letters. Can you tell us about what those are, and you know, who students should be talking to get one?
Yeah. So the support letter is something that we would recommend certainly for you to have if you do plan on traveling to Canada. It is a letter that essentially outlines what your program is, that you are a Georgian College student, and it would be supporting you in your travels to Canada, that you would show the Canadian Border Security Officer, the CBSA officer. So if you are there's 4 different types of letters. So as I mentioned, the essential need to be in Canada is certainly, if you're traveling because of that, a letter that you would want to request, and that would be one of the letters. So you would request a letter by emailing registrars@GeorgianCollege.ca and letting them know your student number, your name, and your program. Perfect. And they would look you up and issue you a letter based on that. So one option is if you have in-person classes. The second is if you are required to come back to Georgian College in August this month because you have to complete one of your on-campus activities. So you're sort of finishing up the recovery period of a course that you were previously in. You could also request a letter for that. And the other 2 options for travel letters are for students that maybe don't fit those 2 scenarios. So your classes may be entirely remote, or maybe you are in a 1-year post-graduation post-grad certificate program and your whole program is online, but you're still considering traveling to Canada. You can still request a letter by emailing that same email address. Your letter will just look a little bit different. So if anyone is thinking of traveling, I would recommend that you are sending an email to registrars to request a letter, but just keep in mind that the letter of support does not mean that you will necessarily or should be traveling. It's just a supportive letter that you can add and bring with you when you do decide to travel, if that is your choice.
Yeah, and speaking of which, there's a question here just about they've got their travel letter, but they're wondering if they can enter Canada if they have remote classes.
So it's really tough for me to answer that because it's really not my decision, and it's not the college's, and it's really not even the policies per se that IRCC prints. The final decision is up to the CBSA officer when you arrive at the port of entry. So they are really going to be assessing you on whether you meet the conditions, the exemptions to enter Canada, and whether or not your need to enter Canada is considered essential. So we know through hearing about experiences with other students in the province that they have, in some cases have not been allowed to enter because their classes have been remote. So it's hard for me to say what will happen in your scenario, but just understand that if your classes are remote, there is no real essential need for you to actually be in Canada because you could do those classes remotely from home. And if you decide to still travel to Canada, that is your choice to make, and just understand that there is there is that risk, and unfortunately, there's no guarantee that you can get prior to traveling that I could offer you or direct you to make that decision a bit more comfortable for you. Other than just keeping up to date with the information that's on the IRCC website that we are posting. But if you don't need to be in Canada, it is a risk for you to be traveling at this time.
And we have a question here. Can an international student travel back to their home country if they have remote classes? Can they come back to Canada after completing their studies?
Yeah, so probably if that's like a current student, so you can leave Canada, assuming that you can actually get a flight ticket and travel to your country. Of course, whatever requirements are in your home country in terms of quarantining, you'll have to be aware of that. With regards to re-entering, the same sort of rule applies. So in this case, you would, I'm assuming, have a valid study permit. But again, if you're wanting to come back and your classes are remote, you would essentially face that same challenge of not necessarily needing to be in Canada. The other thing I would just caution on current students for leaving and planning on coming back is just keep in mind the expiry of your permits. A study permit can really be only extended within Canada. So if you're considering that option and you are currently in Canada, I encourage you to reach out to our department, and you can set up an appointment with myself or one of the other advisors, just so we can have a discussion and make sure, you know, we're covering everything before you actually leave Canada.
Mm-hmm. And that would be sort of international at GeorgianCollege.ca would be the best contact?
Yeah, you could do that. Actually, the best way, if you're a current student, and I believe if you have been accepted, you will also have access to the student portal. But on the student portal under international and immigration support, we have an online assessment form where you can just fill out your name, if you're in Canada, outside of Canada, and what is it that you'd like to do. So maybe it's make an appointment with one of us, or maybe it's signing up for one of our remote sessions to learn how to extend a permit. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can connect with us as well.
Okay, great. And then just so for anybody who's like, where the heck do I find the student portal? I'll just show that. It's just GeorgianCollege.ca. Another great reason to go to our website. And then up in the top corner, if you hit login, some options come up and you can hit student portal. And there's tons of information in here as well. There's news and announcements. You can find help for, you know, remote learning, other resources. There's lots of information under the academics tab as well if you want help with like Blackboard and all of our student support systems. But here's that international tab that Jenna was referring to. And then on
the left-hand side, yeah, immigration support. If you scroll down a little bit. Perfect. Yep. And this is, so right on this page, you'll see an assessment form. So when you click submit, it'll automatically be sent to our triage team. But on the right-hand side where Jenny is, we also have a bunch of quick links. So if you are wondering about any of these titles, these are great resources for you, you know, even now or in the future, if you have a question and it's the weekend and you're wanting to know the answer, these links will either bring you to a Word document that we've compiled or link you directly to the IRCC website.
Perfect. And I'm seeing some pop up. People had some questions about some of these. So this would be a great place to
yeah, absolutely. And just keep in mind that some of those might be impacted slightly by COVID, so just bear in mind. And if you're not sure or wondering if what I'm reading has been changed because of COVID, again, just let us know, and we'd be happy to make sure that that you're getting the right information.
I'll just put that email up for anybody. So it's just international@GeorgianCollege.ca. As well, that IC Georgian account, that's always a great one to follow as well for updates, and you can contact them as well.
Cool. We're going to wrap up here in just a minute, but I just wanted to get in a question about working here. So if students arrive, they've got their studies going, there's so many different aspects about working as an international student here. But can you tell us about what are some of the eligibility requirements for?
Yeah, for sure. So as long as you are in a program that's leading to a degree or a certificate or a diploma, and you are studying full-time, and when you enter Canada, the study permit that you receive has a written condition on it that would actually say that you're eligible to work on or off campus. So if you meet all of those requirements, which most of our international students will, you would be eligible to work off campus and on campus when we eventually have on campus again while you're here studying at Georgian College. There are limitations to that. So during a semester when you're studying full-time, there is a limit to 20 hours of working off campus. In addition, you could work on campus. And then there's periods of time where you are actually eligible to work full-time hours. So that would be during scheduled breaks. So if you have a scheduled break, like a semester off, you're eligible to work full-time then if it's part of your program progression, or over Christmas holidays or reading week, that sort of thing.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jenna, for your time
You're welcome.
and advice today. All right, take care.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
So that about wraps us up for today. I know we didn't quite get through everybody's questions, but if anyone does have any further questions, for sure check out our website, GeorgianCollege.ca. Again, I'm just going to put up some of those emails as well. So if you do have some questions for our international team, this is the best email to reach them at. Again, as Jenna mentioned, you can find that information under the international tab in the student portal, and you can find more resources there. As well, if you're looking for, the support letter for travel and that sort of thing, you want to reach out to our registrar's office. So this is the contact information for them there, registrar@GeorgianCollege.ca. Again, if you've missed any of the questions, we've gone over a lot of different topics, what's happening this fall and all that stuff. We are going to be posting this to our Instagram and Facebook and YouTube accounts following. So for sure, check that out. So sorry. So anyway, so thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. It was really great to connect with all of you and to see your engagement and your questions. And we really do want to support you. So again, reach out to our international team, check out our website, and we look forward to seeing you online in our classes and our online events and all that fun stuff. So thank you so much to Jenna and Sid as well for joining us for their excellent advice. We are going to be back next week with another live chat. So for sure, check that out. It's going to be Thursday, August 13th at 1 p.m. And that's going to be on Instagram as well. And it's going to be all about what to know about fall registration. So again, as we're coming up to the start of fall registration, which begins August the 18th to runs through to the 20th, we'll tell you everything you need to know about that, how to get some support and all that kind of stuff. So in the meantime, please share this live chat with your friends and your family on your social channels, and we'll see you next time. So thanks so much, everybody, for taking the time to join us today. Stay safe.